Hi viewers, welcome to Vidhyalakshmi YouTube channel. So, இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பார்க்க போற வீடியோல 9th standard first unit chapter number 1 அதனுடைய continuation. Okay, this video completely we are going to see the previous part, the continuation of the 9th unit number 1 forms of government and democracy. In previous video we discussed about the different forms of government. Now in this session we are going to see about the democracy and its advantages as well as the disadvantages. Okay, definition. So we will start the lesson with the help of a definition. The definition was said by Mahatma Gandhi. True democracy. What is democracy? We know that very well, the meaning of the democracy. Democracy means people government. What is democracy? Democracy means people government. True democracy cannot be worked by 20 men sitting at the center. True democracy cannot be worked by 20 men sitting at the center, work below by the people of every village. So what he wants to explain now, the national development as well as the absolute growth is in the hands of the people of village, the people who are living in the villages. If we grown up the villages, the remote region of India, Indian villages are getting grown up means it will reflect in the national policy. So that is why he explaining this statement very beautifully. He gave the quotation. True democracy cannot be what? By 20 men sitting at the center, what below by the people of every village. Said by Mahatma Gandhi. Next, salient features of democracy. What is its special features? Number 1, here the elected representatives. Who are the elected representatives? Through the universal adult franchise. The person who attain 18 years of age, we can choose any person. Through general elections, by direct elections, we are catering our vote. The person who got the majority vote declared as a winner. So he will become in state level he is called MLA and in national level called MP. From among the person, among the leader of the majority party will hold the posting of chief minister and prime minister in central level. Here the elected representatives of people and final decision making power of the representative, they hold the special power. They are the people responsible for taking the decisions. Next, number 2, free and fair election. Democratic highlighting feature is free and fair elections. Next, voting right equal value. The common person vote has the same value of prime minister vote also. That is a power of democracy. Voting right equal people attain the age of 18. When you are attaining when we have the power, when we attain the age of 18. Next, fundamental rights and protection of individual freedom. These are the special features of democracy. Number 1, elected representatives are the decision making power. They hold the decision making power. Number 2, free and fair election. Number 3, voting right at the age of 18. And number 4, fundamental right and protection. Next, evolution. How it is getting grown up. So this idea, when it was back up, so it was nearly 2500 years before it started its origin. Began 2500 years, especially in the ancient Greeks, European city, the 4 main Greek city states, Athens, Sparta, Corinth and Thebes. There they followed the direct type of, at present in India we are following the indirect democracy. Indirect democracy means our elected representative who are taking care of the democratic setup. Okay. Here democratic institutions existed in India as early as Vedic period. So all over the world 2500, but in India it was existed earlier Vedic period. Next, Chanakya's Arthashastra. Here we are giving some evidences. In Arthashastra, it tells an autonomous village, individual power, the power held by the people. Community was the basic unit of local government. In Arthashastra, it is very clearly mentioned. Autonomous village community was a basic unit of local government. Next, during the latter Chora period, the Kodavalai Murai. So the people who has the power at the maximum by using the palm leaf, the name will be written and in centrally they will place a pot. In that pot they can drop the palm leaf. Next, who got the majority? The people giving the preference to the person who is declared as a winner. Okay, like our general election, here we are using the symbols by marking some symbols, but in olden days directly they can mention the name of the person in the palm leaf. The person who got majority leaf will be declared as a leader. Okay, this was a system followed during the Chola period. That method called Kuda Volai Murai. Next, evolution of the democracy. We will see some special character features. The evolution towards a democracy is a represented by the following values. The evolution towards a democracy is represented by the following values. What are the special values? There are 6 important values. Number 1, freedom, equality, fraternity. First 3 we will see one by one. Part A, part B, like that we can understand, not memory. We can understand. Freedom, equality, fraternity. Freedom. Independently we can continue our education, continue our job all over India. Next, number 2, equality. Rich and there is no separation between rich and poor. Next, number 3, fraternity, brotherhood. Fraternity means brotherhood. It is one of the important feature of India. Fraternity, brotherhood. Okay. Next 3. First 3 clear? Number 1, freedom, equality and fraternity. Next 3, accountability, transparency and trust. It gives the absolute power. So independently they can take decision, they can continue their job, they can work anywhere, they can hold any type of force, like that. All the features we have, we are absolutely enjoying with the help of democratic setup. So these are the 6 important features. Number 1, freedom. Again one more time I will revise for you. Freedom, equality, fraternity. Next 3 are accountability, transparency and trust. Trust means here belief. Once if I gave my birth as an Indian, I have these many rights. So this is a trust we have. Next. As for a quick and as well as easy understanding, the forms of democratic government classified, taken from our textbook. It is absolutely available in our textbook. So the same method, you have to draw a chart like this. Okay. By representing with the square and rectangle, like that. As you like, you can choose any shape. Forms of democratic government. There are 2 types of, major it had been classified, it is classified into 2 types. First one is parliamentary form, another one presidential form. It is headed by, it is existing in the world today. Number 1 is parliamentary form and another one is presidential form. Okay, under that, so compulsory, sir, in which countries they are following the parliament? Example, India. The one and only great example is India, England, France. But here, democratic setup means one of the biggest country in the world, still the democratic setup is not even one drop getting changed. Okay, example, India. Electorate system, legislature and executive. What is that electorate? It is a team. Our elected representatives are the representative here. They are electing the president. And all the directly elected people appointing the indirectly elected people. Okay, through indirect election. Our representatives are the voters there. They are electing the members. So this is a parliamentary form of government. Electorate, legislature, executive. Next, presidential form. Example, USA and France. There too we have electorate. Again it is subdivided into 2 types. There too we have the same setup, executive and legislature. Next, types of democracy. What are the types of democracy? At present there are existing types of democracy are 2. One is direct democracy, another one indirect democracy. What do you mean by indirect, sir? Here representative. Direct democracy means people hold the majority power by catering their vote. Our elected representative are the voters here. So it is called as indirect democracy. In India we are following this type of democracy. Direct democracy, once upon a time it was existed. Ancient Greek city states, the states were Athens, Sparta, Corinth and Thebes. Athens, Sparta, Corinth and Thebes. There are two type of democracy. At present it is not existing. The existing is indirect democracy. Example, England, France and India. India is the first, one and only great example. Next, direct democracy. Its types of democracy is another feature. Direct democracy. People themselves directly express their will on the public affair. Next, number one, first advantage. Number two, example, where it was existing, sir. Once upon a time it was existed, the ancient Greek city-states and Switzerland. Next, indirect democracy. People express their will through elected. Here, people directly express their view. Here, people express their views through the elected representative. Example, USA, UK and India. Next, merits and demerits, advantages and disadvantages. Merits, number one, equality and fraternity. Here we are maintaining the equality in all features. Number two, local self-government. So each and every panchayat we have the local and self-government, we ourselves. What is the work of the major work of the local and self-governments are? The basic things are, all these things based on the social security functions. So that is why repeatedly they are mentioning this. So major work is based on the social security function. What is the social security function, sir? Number one, health, education and defense. Health, education and defense. So these are the major social security functions. So that is getting taken care under the local self-government. It is a main work of the entire setup. Okay, that is a major merit. Number one, equality and fraternity. Fraternity means previously I told it is brotherhood. Next one is local self-government to take care of the social security functions. Next, demerits, the major thing. First, indirect nature of democracy. Major problem is our elected representative only. On behalf of a mass of people, there is a single representative who will take care. That is a major disadvantage. Indirect nature of democracy. Next, delay in the decision making. There is no possibility for then and there decision making. It will take some long time. Next, democracy in India. So how it is getting working here? Here the first one is here the parliamentary form of democracy. There is a central government, parliamentary form of government. Next, the participation of people in decision making and consent of citizens. Participation and consent are the two important elements here. That is a great feature. Number one, parliamentary. Number two, participation and consent of citizens. Next, number three, India is the largest democratic country in the world. So the one and only example, that great feature we have. Next, finally, works on 5 basic principles. This I mentioned in the video number 1 also. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. This is order we should remember. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. Next, election in India. So I told you, democracy means election is compulsory. How the elections are conducted in India? India has quasi-federal government. That is two type of government, state and local level. Quasi-federal government, state and local level. Okay. General elections are conducted by election commission once in 5 years. It's a fixed duration. Compulsory, they will conduct the election after the completion of 5th year. Next, members of Lok Sabha are directly elected through general election. In state level means legislative assembly. Next, members of Rajya Sabha are indirectly. Then who is the voter here, sir? There one doubt will exist. Okay. Who are the voter here? Our elected representatives are the voter here. Members of Lok Sabha are elected through general election by directly. But the members of Rajya Sabha, the major difference of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is this is temporary house. This is temporary house. This is permanent house. The permanent house members are elected through indirect election. Okay, next. First elections in India. So election means when it was getting started, sir. It was started during the British time. Originally the first elections are held in the year 1920. A small note making leg here we are given. The first Lok Sabha election was conducted in India after independence between 25th October and 25th February of 1951 and 52. 25th October of 1951 and 21st February of 1952. The Indian National Congress won 364 seats out of 489. Okay, as per in accordance with the population growth, now the strength getting increased up to the maximum of 543 and not more than 545, 550 at present. Okay, so at present 543. So during the time of, in that particular year, Congress, Indian National Congress, one of the oldest nationalist movement, it's a political party, they won 364 out of 489. Jawaharlal Nehru became the first prime minister, first democratically elected prime minister of the country. Since from the year after independence, after the temporary government rule getting over, he was appointed as the first prime minister of India. General elections were held in British India in the year 1920. From that year, the very good beginning is from 1920, but after independence only we need to take it under consideration. So the first election was conducted from between two different, they conducted the election in two different first part 25th October 1951 and second part conducted in 21st February 1952. Next, the current challenges, the major challenges. What are the major challenges to the Indian democracy? First thing is illiteracy. Still it is a long lasting problem. Illiteracy. Number 2, poverty. This one another great problem, challenge in India. Number 1 is illiteracy and number 2 is poverty. Number 3, gender discrimination. There is a vast difference. Gender discrimination and regionalism, and major problem is corruption and political violence. These are the major challenges. Number 1, illiteracy, and first part A, like that you make into 3. Part A, part B, part C. Part A, illiteracy and poverty. Part B, gender discrimination and regionalism. Part C, corruption and political violence. Next, conditions for the success of democracy in India. How it became success? What is the secret began? No secret. Everything is openness. Number 1, empowerment of the poor. The empowerment of the poor to enjoy the goodness of democracy. So directly during the time of election, so all the person, whether he may be a rich or a poor, he has the same voting value. Okay. Next, eradication of social evils. There were many social evils in India and recently it was getting eradicated. Next, because of the democracy. Next, an impartial and efficient press. Any one corner of Indian regions getting affected with any of the reason means immediately it will be focused through media. We have that much great power through press. We have that power. We have an impartial and efficient press to form the public opinion. The news are getting published here, so that with the help of the media they are collecting the opinion. Next, presence of strong public opinion. So based on the opinion only they are implementing the laws. And then finally, powerful and responsible opposition. So ruling party and opposition party. So the major work of opposition party is to take care of how the ruling party is working. It is a major work of the opposition to verify the work of ruling party. So here I pasted some pictures, countries, parliament and pictures for our easy understanding. So with the help of, at last you just go through the pictures and collect some information. It will give some clear idea to identify the democratic setup as well as the forms of government. So through this video, we learn two type of information. We gather some informations. Basically, the forms of government as well as the democracy. So this picture will help you great to collect information about India as well as the other foreign countries. Thank you all. Thank you for watching the video. Keep watching our video. Thank you all.